After losing to the Atlanta Dream in a close game at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on May 20th, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever completely turned the tide 2 days later. They outscored the Dream 46-20 in the paint and held Brittney Griner to just 5 points before she fouled out during their rematch on May 22nd. Hey Steph, this question is for you. I just wanted to talk about what you saw out of your team that was different from Tuesday, obviously. It's a quick turn, but how did you feel your adjustments paid off on the court? The same team that narrowly lost at home came to Atlanta and dominated in the most satisfying way possible. This kind of quick turnaround and adjustment shows exactly why this Fever team is ready for championship runs. We'll also break down the spicy scuffle between Clark and an Atlanta Dream player and what shocking words were exchanged with each other. You know, we made it harder for them and moved the ball around the perimeter. If there's one thing this Indiana Fever team has demonstrated to us this season, it's not giving up on the game. The Indiana Fever are down early, come back, take the lead, down late, come back, take the lead. The only difference between tonight's result and Tuesday's outcome is a letter picture. 2 days prior to their revenge game, the Fever left their home court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse feeling completely defeated by Atlanta. The 91-90 loss wasn't just another game that slipped away. It was the kind of defeat that exposes everything is wrong with your team, yes, and we want to win this game. But I think this is great for our team. How are we going to respond? How are we going to come in here tomorrow morning and watch the film, learn, and get on the court and get better? As I mentioned earlier, that's why this league is so great. You have a few days and then you get right back to it. You know, we have a chance to go down there and play them, so it's even better. I suppose we can get a little redemption if we go down there and play well, so the loss wasn't just any regular season defeat. Atlanta outplayed them in ways that shouldn't have been possible on their own court. The Dream outran Indiana and outmuscled them in the paint, making it look easy. Brittney Griner did exactly what everyone expected her to do against Indiana's smaller lineup, scoring 21 points at will while the Fever had no real answer for her size and strength. Ryan Howard scored 20 points, attacking Indiana's defense from every angle. The Dream made 25 of 32 free throws, while the Fever only made 16 of 26 and lost the game due to some crucial missed free throws. The Fever weren't just losing, they were studying. After the game, Coach Stephanie White acknowledged, "I don't feel like we match up well with them." She saw the Dream's Olympians, their perimeter skills, their size, and their experience. However, White and her staff were already planning something different, proud of our fight. "It's tough," she said, referring to the fact that they made 25 out of 32. The players left that locker room with a different energy than usual after a loss, but those 48 hours between games would change everything. That devastating home loss became the fuel that would power one of the most satisfying road wins of the season. The question wasn't whether the Fever would return, but rather how they would make Atlanta pay for embarrassing them at home on Tuesday. We couldn't seal the deal tonight, but we lost it at the free throw line. This game was pretty ugly, and just months ago, Caitlin Clark went 0 for 5 from three-point range and shot only 4 of 11 from the field, which was well below her usual standards for the first time since January 13, 2022. Clark had a game without a single three-pointer, which was the first time since her sophomore year at Iowa that she failed to hit from beyond the arc. After trailing 7,571 with 3 minutes remaining, we took the lead and we didn't look back. The Indiana Fever won 8,176. What I found most impressive about the Fever's performance against the Atlanta Dream was that in most cases when your star player struggles like this on the road, you're probably going to lose by a landslide. Clark received 5 personal fouls, which limited her effectiveness on both ends of the court and kept her off the floor during crucial stretches. Getting into foul trouble early, however, I believe messed up her rhythm, and she didn't really have her legs because it was undoubtedly one of the worst performances of Clark's career. When it comes to offensive production, Cece didn't make a 3 for the first time in her career, but that's okay because even though you know that the game is on the line, she still has the basketball and she manipulates the defense to get it to AD, who puts it away. However, this is where 2025 Fever showed that they had changed into something entirely different from what anyone had anticipated. Natasha Howard stepped up with a game-high 26 points on an amazing 12 of 17 shooting. If I were the Atlanta Dream, I would say that you didn't have a good game the previous game, but you recovered today. I'm going into tonight's game with a plan, coach. Let's make Natasha Howard beat us, people. Don't let Caitlin Clark beat us. Don't let Kelsey Mitchell beat us. Don't let Aaliyah Boston beat us. Natasha Howard took on that challenge and she came through. Let's look back a year ago and who's that gonna be? Katie Lou, Erica Wheeler, and Melissa Smith, you make me laugh. Her awful performance against Atlanta was completely erased by her. Howard dominated the second half with 18 points, including 13 crucial points in the third quarter alone. She also grabbed 7 rebounds while taking over when the team needed it most, so we at least went out. And get someone like Natasha Howard so that when AD and Caitlin Clark Kelsey aren't hitting or getting fouled out, there's someone there who can keep us in the game. Natasha Howard did just that. 26 points, 7 rebounds, way to go. Sophie Cunningham made her comeback from an ankle injury look flawless. In just 20 minutes of play, she scored 9 points and pulled down 6 rebounds. She also made her first three-pointer of the season, which sparked an 11-0 run that put the Fever back in the lead. Her debut instantly energized the court, even drawing an offensive foul. The final seconds demonstrating her impact went beyond the stat sheet. Lexi Hull continued her strong season with 10 crucial points off the bench and 4 assists, matching a career high for all-around contribution. Her performance demonstrated that the depth everyone had doubted was real, and the bench turned into a weapon rather than a weakness. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull are the real deal. It appears that these two women off the bench, you can name whoever you want, will be the most influential duo in the WNBA without a doubt. They bring the forwards. This was a complete reversal from their previous matchup where the Dream's depth had given them a major advantage. Players like Cunningham and Hull made crucial defensive and scoring contributions, and the bench outscored Atlanta's bench by 16 points. This wasn't just a team win, it was evidence that the Fever had become a legitimate threat with multiple weapons at their disposal. When one player struggled, 3 others stepped up to fill the void. The supporting cast didn't just survive Clark's off night, they flourished during it, including Stephanie White. In the final minute after we had a 3-point lead, Stephanie White said, "Sophie, Lexi, press, don't make it easy on them. Don't let them get into their offense. We got to hassle them. We got to haggle them. We got to get on them. We need to make them. We need to force them to make decisions before they want to." And those two did exactly that. Clark's struggles tonight actually revealed something more significant than any individual performance. This team could win championships championship teams need. The Fever demonstrated that they had all of these qualities in a single road game against a good opponent. At 6'9" in, Brittney Griner should have been the most unstoppable force on the court, having already proven her effectiveness against Indiana in their first meeting. Everyone knew Atlanta would feed her the ball early, and often that's toughness on display fighting through it. They need players who can take over games, they need depth that can handle adversity, and they need role players who become stars when the moment demands it. Then, as I mentioned earlier, some of the new players like Natasha Howard were outstanding in this game, and there were some connections between her and Clark. Sophie Cunningham, who was also returning for the first time, is a fantastic all-around basketball player, and you could see it here. Cece is a very talented passer. The Fever lacked a traditional center who could match her size, and coach Stephanie White acknowledged the matchup difficulties her team faced against the Dream, especially because of Atlanta's player size advantage. White, like Griner and Brianna Jones, stressed that the Fever needed to use their depth and versatility to counter the Dream's size. This strategic change became essential for the rematch, but something odd began to happen. Every time Griner touched the ball, Indiana players surrounded her from all sides. The Fever's defensive strategy was pure chaos theory. They sent help from positions that didn't make basketball sense. Players continuously rotated. Double teams came from unexpected places, and Dear Dantis played 17 minutes. Yes, 1 for 5. To her credit, did you see what she did today with Dantis? Did you see what she did tonight with Dantis? The Fever's defensive strategy, which Coach White described as a collective effort, involved being physical on every possession. Every time Griner got the ball, it turned into a physical battle, with players willing to take fouls to break her rhythm and make her work harder for every point. This defensive intensity was a significant improvement from the first game, as the team outscored the Dream 41-37, which was a huge turnaround from their previous meeting in Atlanta. I felt like our depth came into play there, being able to go to our bench and bring a different defensive coverage and intensity level, and that allowed us to get out in transition. I mean, we're going to be at our best when we're in transition, and I felt like in that second quarter we were able to get out a little bit with 338 left in the game. When they were down to just 76 points on their home turf, the improved physicality became evident to everyone watching. Her frustration increased with each missed shot and whistle. The referees weren't giving her the calls. Despite having only 5 points and 7 rebounds, Brittney fouled out against the Fever for the second time this season. The Fever's defensive strategy was so effective that it forced her into difficult situations throughout the game, making every possession a battle and wearing her down methodically. Atlanta's game plan fell apart the moment their star player walked to the bench in foul trouble with a dominant foul, which reduced the Dream's ability to score in the paint and completely disrupted their offensive flow. The Fever closed Brittney Griner left the game with assurance that their main scoring threat was gone when they needed her most. She attempted to move Dearest off the block on defense, but she was unable to move Demers off the block on defense. Tonight, with tensions already high in this revenge game, Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard found themselves in a heated face-to-face exchange that revealed exactly what kind of competitor Clark is. Following a hard foul, both players immediately began talking, and the cameras captured Clark saying the first overall pick back in 2022, Ryan Howard was trying to intimidate the sophomore during a pivotal road game. He had been assigned to guard Clark the entire night, making every possession physical. The veteran was doing what veterans do, testing the young player's mental toughness. This type of challenge occurs frequently when established players want to see what young stars are capable of. Ryan Howard was up in her grill the entire game, and there was the bump, the physical challenge. There are some words for Clark, but as you can see, Clark has some words back, and if you lip read them correctly, or if it seems like from the lip readers out there, I'm not scared of you, I'm not afraid of you, I'm sorry, but Clark looked her in the eyes and said, I'm not scared of you, with the kind of confidence that distinguishes stars from superstars. She then put her shoulder into Howard's chest during the exchange, and Clark gave Howard a sardonic thumbs up, demonstrating that she wasn't backing down from anyone. The moment was caught on camera, and it went viral on social media right away. The crowd at State Farm Arena grew louder after the exchange, and the game became more physical on both ends as both teams began playing. This wasn't just trash talk, it was a declaration that the Fever's young core would no longer be bullied. Clark's response sent a message to her teammates that they belonged on this stage. She demonstrated to them how to handle pressure from veteran players who were trying to intimidate them. Howard wanted the challenge, and I loved it. As I mentioned earlier, the previous game was an impressive loss because things didn't go as planned, but they were almost there and they came back, so this is sort of the same side of that coin. Clark's willingness to stand up to Howard showed her teammates that she was ready to fight for every possession. She demonstrated the kind of leadership that championship teams need, and even veteran players like Natasha Howard responded to Clark's energy throughout the entire game. The atmosphere became electrified with playoff intensity, and the emotional fire from that moment spread to every player on the court. After witnessing their stars' refusal to be intimidated, even on a night when her shots weren't falling, Clark was still finding ways to have an impact on winning through toughness and leadership. She scored just 11 points and went 0 for 5 from three-point range, but her willingness to confront Howard demonstrated that her influence went far beyond statistics. She was demonstrating championship mentality, which is huge, and again, our depth and our ability to play different lineups and our ability to support one another if we don't have it. I thought Dearest Dantas was huge for us when AD got in foul trouble. That exchange became the pivotal moment when the Fever demonstrated that they belonged on the biggest stages. The team thrived on Clark's energy and confidence, playing with more aggression on defense and attacking the rim with greater purpose on offense. Championship teams require players who won't back down from anyone, and Clark simply demonstrated that she was built for those moments. In terms of her ability to move the ball, her defensive physicality was huge, and even she hadn't played the entire game, but we threw her in there in some time in score situations. Even though she was only a sophomore, the veterans' response to
Howard's challenge demonstrated that she has the mental toughness to lead this team to championships. It also showed why the Fever thought they could compete with anyone in the league. We talk about some days it's going to be your day, some day it's not right. We have to choose the we over the MI, and we have to stay ready so we don't have to get ready. Everyone had a positive impact on this game, and I'm so proud of them. This revenge victory in Atlanta demonstrated that the Indiana Fever had gone from a rebuilding team to a legitimate championship contender with depth, toughness, and multiple ways to win. They held the Dream to just 36%. The fact that they dominated on the road without their best player having her best night demonstrates that this team is prepared for whatever 2025 brings. Clark went scoreless from three-point range, but the Fever still won by double digits, which is championship-level depth. Feel free to comment below to express your pride in the victory. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss it. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next time.